Hello, audience. I'm happy. My name is Dawson. His name is Justin.
Hello.
And welcome back to Nerdom News. Today in the news, we have a new Comic-Con trailer, Justice League. Pretty cool stuff. Justin.
So, the trailer starts off, and there is some heist going down, and Wonder Woman steps in to stop it. We don't see the people who are performing the heist. We don't see their faces. So it could be some kind of returning faces or something, some big thing going down they just don't want to show us yet. But that part has me intrigued that they just never show their faces. So Dawson, what happens after that?
I don't know, Justin, what happens?
Well, we see Themyscira again, and we see Batman and Wonder Woman talking about how heroes are not really a thing at the moment because Superman died. Everybody's real sad about that, even though, Superman isn't definitely dead for definitely. And they're talking about how superheroes need to come back. They need to return because the world's a better place when you got superheroes. And then we see Themyscira, we see a mother box, and then we see Steppenwolf come down from wherever he comes from, and he goes to take it because that's his goal, to get all the mother boxes. How many there are, I can't quite remember. I just know one's in Themyscira, one's in Atlantis, and then there was one in a deleted scene in Batman Superman, which is with Cyborg's father. So at least, as far as I remember, there are 3.
And spoiler alert, if you don't fucking know, one of the mother boxes is Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his suit, attached to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what basically saved his life, was the mother. And it wasn't in deleted. Technically, the mother box was not a deleted scene. It was in Batman v Superman. It was in the camera footage where you see the Flash saving a gas station robbery, and Aquaman just inside a fucking water cave, and then Cyborg is all dead on the table, and the mother box expands and attaches to him.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
And then from Themyscira, we cut to a scene of Aquaman in Atlantis, just swimming about. I think he's going to protect his own mother box, probably, because, that's a good thing to keep protected. And then we see some more of Flash, which Ezra Miller I've definitely come around to as Flash. At first, I didn't quite know how I felt, but after rewatching the original trailer and this one a couple times, I definitely do think he works. Him and Aquaman I can definitely see being more of the, not necessarily comedic aspects of this movie, but they definitely will lighten it up a tad bit, even though this Aquaman is such a dark, grungy looking dude. And we see the little clip of Flash running again, which looks okay. It looks like Flash running. I really like seeing the blue lightning instead of the typical yellow that people usually use to represent lightning.
It shows he has a deeper connection with the Speed Force.
Mm-hmm. Which is odd because it doesn't seem like he's been Flash for too terribly long at this point. But I guess he's always had that connection to the Speed Force.
He even said himself that he's never battled before. He's basically pushed people out of the way and ran.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he seems like he's pretty beginner. But I guess you've from other Flash comic books. I think they're going to take the route in this movie that we learn in, I don't know if it's New 52 or Rebirth, that with every step Barry Allen takes, he generates the Speed Force. So when he was hit by the lightning and then when he started running, he created the Speed Force. So I feel like since he is the creator of the Speed Force, he has the strongest connection.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense.
I think that's what they're just going for. I think they're just going to leave out you might see it sometimes, but all the stuff we've seen so far has the blue lightning, so who knows?
And then
except for in Batman v Superman, when he comes back in time to basically tell him to tell Batman to find them all, to find Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Cyborg. I'm pretty sure it was yellow.
It might have been. I can't quite recall since I haven't seen it since we saw it in theaters. So I can't quite recall.
Anyway.
And then the rest of the trailer is just more battling against parademons and Steppenwolf and stuff. So, it's a pretty action-packed trailer. What do you think about it?
I like it. I mean, you're traveling around the world. I mean, there seems some shots are in Europe, where I think that's where Diana is stationed at. You know, I think she is some type of museum curist.
Mm-hmm.
I like Ezra Miller's Flash, though I felt like, I have to be honest, the whole thing at the end of the trailer, that little joke of, you know, oh, they just disappeared. That's kind of rude. That felt really forced.
Yeah.
It felt like a really forced joke, and I don't think Ezra Miller really delivered it that well. I did get a chuckle out of it, because, you know, it's not the first time, you know, Batman disappearing is a joke, or Flash, or, you know, any of them disappearing is a joke. I mean, quite a few of them are speedy characters, and Batman is just very stealthy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I felt like that was kind of just shoehorned in there, just because they're trying to lighten up the universe. I mean, there's a lot of jokes in this in this trailer, that though they are funny, they felt very out of place.
Yeah, because I mean, the first two movies, or three movies technically, not even technically, just in general, Man of Steel, Batman Superman, and then Suicide Squad, or at least the first two out of that, were kind of dark. They had a more of a darker tone over them, and then it seems like now they're trying to go back on that a little bit and lighten it up. So they're definitely including more jokes than they have been.
And more, you know, more punches at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of teasing themselves, and that's fine. You know, in the full context of the movie, maybe I will laugh a bit more when there's, you know, but I felt like there's just a lot of jokes in this trailer,
Mm-hmm.
or little one-liners, or that kind of stuff. Like with the first Justice League trailer, there was, you know, there's a guy sitting in my second favorite chair. That was pretty funny.
And the whole line of, "What's your superpower? Oh, I'm rich."
Yeah, and the whole, like, can I keep this?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the Batarang, and then kind of in the second trailer, you know, just like a bat. I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty funny. But in this one, I felt like there was just a lot of really forced jokes. Like, they're trying to tell people that this universe is, you know, it's lightening up. We're trying to have more fun, which is fine. But I don't know. There's that one end joke. It's just like the way it was edited, and the way Ezra Miller delivered it, and then the way he just kind of, it didn't work for me. I'm sorry. But, you know, I like seeing Themyscira again. I did get all wide-eyed, because I did really love Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool seeing Themyscira again. Seeing Steppenwolf, I will say, not a fan of his design. I just don't really care for it. I want to see more of him in action. I can't really say, like, I've seen an action figure of him and basically his back. So I want to see him more in action. The whole thing with Jim Gordon was really cool. I like seeing J.K. Simmons as Jim Gordon. He looks good to me. He looks like I can't say more traditional, because I think the last two Jim Gordons we've gotten have looked a lot like Jim Gordon. But seeing him with the bat signal was cool. Interact with, you know, the characters, always fun. Battle sequences are cool. Seeing Aquaman, like, fall through the air with his trident in one of the what are they called? Parademons.
Yeah.
That's what they're called. In one of those, and then, you know, he falls through a roof and then slides through the side of the building. That was really cool. Seeing the Batmobile, you know, go around. I don't know what city. I don't think it's Gotham, but going, there are a lot of really cool scenes in this trailer, that are just really well done. I mean, all the scenes that we saw in Atlantis looks pretty cool. I like the way that they have filmed these underwater scenes and the way that it does look like these actors are actually swimming through the water, or as close as possible. Aquaman looks cool. Flash still looks cool. Wonder Woman still awesome. Like that whole opening sequence was pretty cool. Though we did see part of that in another trailer, just of her sweeping the leg. Yeah, I mean, I have been open with Justin and other people before about asking about Justice League, and some of the designs for some of the characters and some of those costumes. So I'll touch on those right now. Cyborg looks dumb. I'm sorry, he just looks dumb. I don't like his look. I'm sure he's going to be a fine Victor Stone. I'm sure he's going to be a fine Cyborg. But when it comes to his look, he looks way too geometric, and he's really stocky up top, and he missed leg day.
Yeah.
And his skin tone is like super smooth. It looks like they took a Photoshop paintbrush and made his skin extremely smooth, and then everything else really pops out for the CGI of his suit especially when he's inside the back climber thing. I don't know what it is. He's like, Alfred, I'll take over from here, and Alfred's like, do I know you? Which, I like Jeremy Irons as Alfred, so I got a giggle out of that.
He works very well as it. Who played Alfred in the Dark Knight trilogy?
Oh, don't do this to me. Oh God, Jeremy Irons and Justin.
Any other day you'd be able to answer this on the spot. God dang it.
No, I know it. It's Justin. His name, Michael Caine.
Yeah, that's right.
Michael Caine.
They both are good Alfred.
Yeah. So I like Jeremy Irons. I thought that was a good scene, but God, Cyborg's just not doing it for me. And a lot of people, are really mixed on him. Batman, I do like his new suit. Goggles look terrible. Too small, make his bat cowl look like it's really tight on his head.
Yeah.
But everything else just looks cool. This movie looks good. DCEU definitely doesn't have as good CGI as the MCU, but it definitely has a much different stylistic design that works with its kind of CGI flaws. So I can let that slide a little bit. There's one scene in this movie, one scene in the trailer I did want to mention, but it's slipping my mind. What scene? Oh, I like when Alfred says, I missed the time where we had to worry about
Wind up penguins?
Wind up penguin bombs. Like that. And I was just like, hey, the penguin. I like that. So I hope we get to see the penguin sometime.
Yeah.
I know there was stuff with Josh Gad as the penguin, which could work, I guess. If he could do a nice penguin, I don't know what he's gonna do with the penguin, but he could be fine, I guess. But
one thing I want to touch on is they specifically mentioned the lanterns in this trailer, so we could be seeing one in this movie, maybe towards the end, because we do have the Green Lantern Corps movie coming up, so we might get our first look at them in this movie. We might not, but anyways.
This is one thing. So, I think one of the biggest things that a lot of people are going to talk about with this trailer is the very end with Alfred talking to someone.
A lot of people are speculating that it's Superman, which it could be.
Which, I think it is Superman, because you did get to see a little bit of red, which I think is his cape. But also, right before whoever entered the room, there were some really weird noises.
Yeah, I'll have to
Like,
definitely give that another look and actually like listen closely to it.
because it sounded very. I can't do an impression of it, but it was just very like wow wow, like very. I don't know how to explain it, which like it also leads me to think that maybe it's a Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
But
And he just knows the
again,
Green Lantern.
yeah, but then again, I also feel like it just is Superman because I saw like a red cape,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if there shouldn't be any red on a Green Lantern unless they go to like Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern, not
Where he had
Kyle Rayner.
like a red suit.
That wasn't Kyle Rayner, was it?
I
No,
don't know.
Kyle Rayner is the White Lantern. I can't remember the original Red Lantern's name.
Green
He
Lantern.
had like a red, like a red cape, which I highly doubt they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It
That'd be a
just
real bad look.
there was a noise when someone entered the room that didn't sound like anything we've heard from Superman,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't sound like any technology around him. I don't know. It just there's a weird noise. I would recommend going back and listening to it. I listened to it like twice. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, that's kind of weird. And I was like, okay. So I went back and I listened to it with the mic right up to my ear, and it just doesn't sound quite right. It sounds very intentional, not like a background noise.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's my thing, but I'm pretty sure it's Superman.
Mm-hmm. Probably
I'm pretty,
is.
I'm pretty sure it's Superman.
Yeah. Um,
But
One thing I'd like to mention real quick. I've been a real big fan of what we've seen of Aquaman so far, and this movie definitely keeps it up. I really enjoy Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I think he has a really cool take on the character. This trailer gets me even more excited for his solo movie coming out next year. I think it is.
next year, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm real excited for that. So, anything else you want to touch on from this trailer, or should we move on to the next little thing we want to talk about?
No, I feel like, go watch the trailer, talk to us in the comments down below if you feel inclined, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about anything else. But other than that, let's move on to other news coming out of the DC panel. So we already know that there's a bunch of DC movies already confirmed for the lineup, and they basically like double confirm Suicide Squad 2, which we know is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman 2 knew was coming. The
Shazam.
Batman movie knew was coming. Shazam, and then we knew that there was going to be a Flash movie, but of course, when it comes to plot lines, we really don't. And it has been announced that the Flash storyline that we'll be getting is none other than Flashpoint,
Mm-hmm.
which has been turned into a DC anime movie, and also is probably one of the most well-known storylines in comic book history. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Um, to me, it just feels like a really odd time to do it because unless like the timeline, like the Flash movie will probably come out like 2019, maybe 2020. Not quite sure when they're actually projecting that for.
I think it's 2019.
Okay, so still at this point, Flash Flash will still not have been Flash for very long.
I think this is going to go in the future.
Okay, so they're not really focusing on like a direct timeline; they're just jumping around it, I guess.
I don't think not like in the future. Like let's jump in like 10 years down the line.
Just a couple years.
I don't think the Flash movie is going to like proceed before Justice League. I mean that's kind of dumb. I mean, he'd have to like know Bruce Wayne because I believe at the end of the movie you're going to get the whole Flashpoint. Bruce getting a letter from his father in the other time, or not the other time, but the other universe. So I feel like there's going to have to be a connection between Batman and Flash. So I feel like it's going to be the events after Justice League. Flash has been the Flash for a little bit longer, and then so I don't think it's going to be like. I think it's going to be the Flash for at least a little bit.
Like this to me, this seems like a giant story to do for Flash's first movie. Like to me, is the only equivalent I can think of this is like having Civil War be the very first Captain America movie. It just seems like a weird time to do it. But if they can
Sure,
pull
I
it
mean,
off, then good on them.
they could have done like the Rose Gallery type thing, having like Captain Boomerang and
Captain Cold.
and the prankster Captain Cold, that kind of stuff. Which they still could do. I don't know. I felt like they're being really ballsy with this universe, with just throwing shit at you that you would never really expect. And honestly, I'm not that surprised that they're doing it. But right off the bat,
I mean, it's
because
like after Flashpoint, where do you go with a Flash movie?
I don't know. I feel like they're just trying to open up. I think they're just trying to open up the multiverse right away.
I guess that's true.
I mean, I think that, it took us 10 years to fucking or almost 10 years to get to the multiverse of the MCU. But even then, Doctor Strange is just the key. We still haven't traveled the multiverse. And, so I think DCU is just being like, we have an extremely well-known multiverse of characters and places we can go and things we can do. We have a character that is well known for traveling the multiverse. And, why not just use him? Right off the bat. Right off the bat, let's just do it.
And that also, they can also then start making movies that aren't necessarily, that are part of this universe as a whole, but just like side stories that aren't happening on Earth 1. So, they can just start doing whatever they want, basically. Which is a good way to do it, because, as we do, the X-Men movie, they started doing whatever they wanted, and people are kind of confused about it, because they at first had a clear, or at least a kind of clear timeline, but now they're just jumping all around doing everything. So at least at this point, they can do things without having to worry about the timeline as a whole, and just say, oh, this is a side movie.
And guess what? Just like the Flash TV show, if something fucks up, Barry can fix the timeline! So yeah,
things are happening, things are exciting.
Yeah, things and stuff.
Are you excited for Justice League?
Absolutely.
Same. So, any final thoughts?
I'm trying to think of a line from this trailer, but honestly, the audio for the trailer for me was not that great, so it was a surprise for me that there's a mention of Green Lanterns. Even though I watched the trailer 3 times, I didn't hear anything about the Green Lantern Corps.
Steppenwolf said, no lanterns, no Kryptonians. So.
Oh, yeah. I heard nothing of that nature.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff. Let us know down below, what do you think of all this DC news that we have received today? Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.